Okay, now in this one, you need to write an expression equivalent to the letter T. Now all you see there's a proportion, okay? Well, your job at the end is to get what T equals. You're like, how would I do that? Well, first off, you're going to set up an equation because the cross products are equal. All you have is a 2 here, and then 2t times x is just 2tx. You just put a 2 and then the two variables that appear. It doesn't matter the order you put them. Okay, 3p times y would just be 3, and then yp or py. It doesn't matter the order. Now remember, you need to get t by itself. So t is being multiplied here by two numbers, and you are going to divide by both of those two factors, the 2 and the x. And over here I divide by 2x. So now I know t's equivalence. It's 3py over 2x. You don't need to make any calculations. Just manipulate the variables. Okay, so here's my t. Okay, if I have an 8 and a 1, I take 8 times 1, it's 8. And then I put the tx. Then going the other way, we have a 4, and then py or yp. Now remember, we have to get the t by itself. So it's being multiplied by 8 and x. So I divide by 8 and x to cancel the multiplication. Then the other side is divided by 8x. Now you could, 3 over 2 can't really be, they don't have a GCF, they just a 1. 4 and 8 can be reduced to a half, okay? So 1/2 py over x. Okay, this one here, here's your t, so it would be 5ty, and then the other way would be 8px or 8xp. I don't really care the order, okay? So we got to get the t by itself. So t is multiplied by 5 and y. So I divide by 5 and y, so t is now by itself. Now I have 5y. 8 and 5 share GCF of 1, so it just stays 8 and 5, and then px and y. Okay, and then the last one, here's my t. So I'm going to have 5xt or tx. And on the other side, we have 8py. Remember, I got to get that t by itself. So t is multiplied by 5 and x, so I divide by 5 and by x. 8 and 5 only share a common factor of 1, so again, that would stay 8py over 5x. Okay, and that is how to manipulate variables out of a proportion or any type of equation. Do these on the back side. Here you take 6 times 7, that'd be 42t. Okay. Okay, now this next one's an easy one. You have a line, and these are the endpoints of the line. You need to find the midpoint. It's real easy. All you do is add the x's, the -3 and the 7, because you got xy, xy. You add them and divide by 2. So you add first to get 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the x coordinate at the midpoint is 2. Now 0 plus 4, I'll write it down, but that's 4, divided by 2 is 2. 2 is the midpoint. Okay, next one, again, finding the midpoint. You just take your two x coordinates, you add them, -7 plus 8, and divide by 2. So that's 1. If that's a decimal, you can use 1/2 as your x midpoint. -5 plus 6 divided by 2, that's 1, and that would be a half. So it's 1/2, 1/2. They're not always the same. It's just what I'm coming up with. Okay, you're like, how is that a half? Yeah, it's halfway between them. Okay, and then finally, I take -8 plus 6, divide by 2, and I take 4 plus 10, divide by 2. So that is -2 divided by 2 is -1. Think of a number line halfway between -8 and 6. Yeah, -1 makes sense. That's 14 divided by 2, and that's 7. Okay. work the 2 on the back, pause video. Okay, now my next one. A DVD player with a list price of $100 is marked down 30%. John gets an employee discount of 20% off the sale price. How much does John pay for the DVD player? Now, we're going to work this through street math. We're not going to use algebra, okay? It starts at $100, and you're going to subtract first because marked down 30%. Well, what are you going to subtract? Well, it depends what 30% of 100 is. Okay, so what I do of $100, because that's your dollar amount. Okay, now you divide your percent by 100 because a percent is per 100. Okay, it's what that means. So I'm basically just making 30% into a decimal, so that'd be 0.3. Okay, 0.30, 0.3, whatever. 0.30 times 100 is 30. Okay. So I take 100 minus 30, and that's 70. But now there's another off sale. So it's 20%, but this time we're finding 20% of 70, because that's where the price lies now. So that'd be 0.2 or 0.20, and then you multiply. That's what of means. That's 14. So I take away 14 from that, and that's $56. Okay, next one, list price is $225, and then market 25% off. Now I got to find out how much money that is off, so I find 25% of $225. So that'd be 0.25, then we multiply. $56.25. Okay, so I take 225 minus 56.25, that's 168.75, but then there's another amount taken off, 20%. So now I find 20%, but it's not of 225, it's of the new price, 168.75. So divide by 100, 0.2 or 20, and then times 168.75. So $33.75. $135. Okay, and then my final one, an item with a list price of $200 and marked 30% off. You have a coupon for 15% off. How much the item costs? You got $200 minus, okay? We have to find 30% of 200. So it's 0.3 times 200. 60. So that's 140. Okay. Then 15% of 140. Okay. And I take 0.15 times 140, and that's 21. So I'm minus 21. So that's $119. Okay. Okay, now pause the video and do the 2 on the back. Okay, next one. To buy lunch, you choose between 3 salads, 2 soups, 5 sandwiches, and 3 drinks. How many lunches are possible? Don't write this down, what I'm about to write down. So let's say 3 salads. I can get ranch, French, or Thousand Island. And the soups are chicken, noodle, and vegetable. So I get ranch with chicken noodle, ranch with vegetable. Thousand Island with chicken noodle, Thousand Island with vegetable. Can also get, what else did I say? French. French with chicken noodle, French with vegetable. Okay, so that's 6. What do you do with 2 and 3 to get 6? Probably multiply. So every time there's a new selection, I just multiply by it. Okay, and that's my answer. So 3 times 2 is 6, times 5 is 30, times 4 is 120, so that's 120. Same thing here. And once you know it, it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, 1,344. Okay, 3, 5, 2, and 6. I'm just going to go 3 times 5 times 2 times 3, and I got 90. Okay, do the 2 on the back. That should take 30 seconds. Now, how do you add or subtract with a repeating decimal? Okay, you need to find the difference between the two numbers. Well, it's actually pretty easy. You can just you need to use a calculator. 1.8 and then minus 1 point, and then 0.8 is covered by the repeating bar. So I go 0.8, 0.8, 0.8, 0.8, 0.8, 0.8, 0.8 a bunch of times. And what's that leave me with? Well, it leaves me with 0.7, but then it goes 19, 19, 19. So I put 19 repeating bar above the 19. Okay, 3.3 repeating and 3.3. It's not 0.3 repeating. Okay, it's close, but that's not right. So 3 point, and then the repeating bar just covers the 3. So 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, minus 3.3. And it's 0.03 repeating bar over the 3. Okay, 8.3. Minus 8.12. It's just a bar over the 2, though. So you go 8.1 and you go 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Not 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 0.17. Now there's 7 repeats. Now you see an 8 at the end. You're like, what's up with that? That's just the calculator rounding it, saying it can't go any further. But the 7s go on forever. Okay. All right, pause the video, do the 2 on the back. Okay, now the next one, it says write an equation that shows a linear relationship. Now, we know how to write a linear equation. We're going to use slope-intercept. And this is even easier, okay? The b is found on a table if you just spot the location where the x is 0. So what's the y? 100. Now, the b has to be 100 because anything times 0, I don't care what sits there, anything multiplied by 0 is 0, but if I add 100, I'm going to get 100. Okay, now to find your m is pretty easy too. You don't need that y minus y, x minus x crap. Now, you can see your m's go to 90 to 80. Sorry, that's not a 60. That needs to be a 70. Okay, I screwed that up. That's a 70. 90 to 100 to 90 to 80 to 70. So you can tell that that's going down by 10. Now, if your x's are just going by 1s, then that's your m, negative 10. Y equals negative 10x plus 100 is the equation. It's very easy to do a linear equation off just a table. So here my y-intercept would be 25. Now I can see here we're going up by 5, so it'd be positive 5. And here you're increasing by 1. And so if it's 1, then it's just y equals 5x plus 25. Y equals mx plus b. So here my m, 50 to 80 to 110 to 140. Now if you don't know what that's adding by every time, you know it's adding, okay? Just find the difference in them. I mean, 140 minus 110, 30. Yeah, 30, 30. So it's going up by 30. But you can't, 30's not, by the way, your y and your b is obviously 50. But your x is increasing by 2. So what you need to do is take your 30 divided by 2. Because dividing by 1 would have been silly. It would have just been the same thing. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Okay, y equals 15x plus 15. Okay, you got 3 on the back, and that's the end.